The St. Louis Cardinals answer the bell and play with some desperation in their victory over the Chicago White Sox. This is Locked On Cardinals.
You are Locked On Cardinals, your daily St. Louis Cardinals podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello there, Cardinals fans. I'm JD Haffern, and I am your host for Locked On Cardinals, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, covering your team every day. Follow me on X at JD Sports Radio and the podcast at LO_Cardinals. We're on YouTube. Make sure you like, subscribe, and comment. Hit that notification button. Also on TikTok and Instagram at Locked On Cardinals. This is a show serving Cardinal Nation and giving the best fans in baseball all of the info about the birds on the bat. Today's episode brought to you by Monarch Money. Take control of your finances with Monarch Money. Use code LOCKEDONMLB at monarchmoney.com for 50% off your first year. So the Cardinals got a much-needed win on Tuesday night when they walloped the Chicago White Sox by a score of 12-2. And as much as the final score makes me feel good, you like to see that. You like to, as I called it in the short that I dropped in the post-game reaction, when you like to bust out the whooping stick on another team from time to time. And as good as it feels for me, for you, probably as well as a fan, it's the way they went about things in this game that excited me. All right. It's not that they just won by a score of 12-2. It's how they got there that really pleased me. In yesterday's episode, I spoke about doing the little things again. Manufacturing runs again, playing with some desperation to climb out of this funk that this team has been in over the last couple of weeks. And I truly believe that this Cardinals team, it's more like the May version of the Cardinals than the other versions that we've seen this year. Are they quite as good as 19-8 like they were in May? No, they aren't. But they certainly are better than the 1-6 that we saw last week and the 4-10 that we had seen coming into this game in the month of June. They're better than that. And just like anything in this life, when things are going well, there's a chance you're going to get complacent. There's a chance you're going to get a little lazy about some stuff, and that's when things will come crashing down to earth a bit. Not saying that the Cardinals haven't been working hard or they haven't been giving 110% towards winning baseball games, but maybe, just maybe, we took for granted how hard it is to continue to compete at the level that they were playing at in the month of May. And to me, their style of play, it just felt like it changed a little bit. And I'm sure it has to do with adjustments that were being made by their opposition. This isn't only just the Cardinals doing things. The other teams are doing things as well to try to defeat the St. Louis Cardinals. And those adjustments were working. And the Cardinals were not doing the things that they were doing in the month of May anymore. At least not when I'm watching. I didn't get the same vibe from this team. And you had a lot of guys struggling, obviously. We brought that up yesterday with Newt and Wynn and Victor and Donnie being hurt. Obviously, things are going to get altered a little bit, but it got a little bit dull, didn't it? It just didn't feel like they were playing with the same energy that they had been in the month of May. But Tuesday, they come out and they did some things to help push the play a bit more. And let's be honest, also finally had a little bit of lady luck on their side too. First thing that changed was the lineup. Lars Nootbaar and his struggles back in the lineup after a few days off, but he was batting seventh now, no longer at the top of the order. Instead, Brendan Donovan got to be your leadoff guy, arguably your best hitter so far this season. I think there's a case for Ivan Herrera to get some love there too. But I think we all can agree that Donovan has been the team MVP so far this year. So why wouldn't you want that guy at the top of the lineup getting a chance to have more at-bats in a game? So that's what Ollie did. Moved Donovan up to the number one spot. I mentioned yesterday that having those three guys who were struggling with Newt, Wynn, and Victor Scott batting in consecutive spots, because after the top of the order where it was Newt and Wynn, then you come down to the bottom and you would have Victor, then Newt, then Wynn again, and all three of them were kind of dragging down this offense a little bit. So Ollie broke them up. Donnie goes first. Wednesday's in the number 2 hole, but then it's Herrera Contreras, goes Burley, then Nato, then Newt batting in the 7 hole, Pages, and then Victor. So you broke up some of the lefty stuff there too. So none of those 3, though, were hitting next to each other. So good call by Ali. Second thing was that you could see how important it was to get this offense rolling again when you've got your catcher, Pedro Pages, attempting a bunt in the 2nd inning. Already down 1-0 at this point. Cardinals got a base hit from Nolan Arenado, scorched one there. I think it was like 105 off the bat. Then a walk by Newt Barr, which was awesome to see him looking more like himself in this game. So you got runners on 1st and 2nd, nobody out. Ali wasn't going to sit back and hope for a base hit and risk an inning-killing double play. Instead, he has Pages bunting as if it was later in the game, 7th, 8th, trying to get these guys over. And that's the desperation I was talking about. I need you to feel like this inning and that run is the most important run of the game. Don't treat it like you still have 6-7 innings to work with. Don't think like that. Think now, this inning right here. I need those guys over to give me a better chance of scoring. Every run means so much with this offense because it doesn't have your typical sluggers up and down the lineup. So why not play small ball more often and give your team a better percentage of scoring a run in the inning by laying down the bunt? It's something I kind of wanted to see Jordan Walker do on Sunday in Milwaukee with 2 on and nobody out. Instead, he swings away, he strikes out, and it set the chances of scoring back for the Cardinals. They end up striking out 3 times in a row, and the game's over. They never moved the people over except for, they got the wild pitch. But in this situation, Pages does what he needs to do, gets his job done, gets the bunt down, gets a little help from some wacky spin on the ball, and the White Sox end up throwing it away, scoring the tying run. It sparks a chain reaction that leads to 5 runs in that 2nd inning, and that's exactly what I was talking about yesterday. Play as if it's late innings all the time. Put pressure on the defense. You dictate the play instead of your opponent. I loved this. I thought it was genius. I thought it was smart, and I applaud it. I applaud the changes that Ali made to the lineup. I applaud his decision to have Pages bunt there. I thought it was great. We're going to continue with this because we got to discuss the Wilson Contreras steal of home plate, which was a bit of a shocking moment. Plus, we've got to talk about the start for Matthew Liberatore. He was great in this one, too. So we'll get to all of that coming up on Locked On Cardinals. Ever check your bank account and wonder, where did all my money go? Between dining out, your online shopping, your entertainment. My wife had a peeler sent to the house today because she was making sweet potatoes. It's little things like that end up adding up, and it's easy to lose track. That's where Monarch Money comes in and can be your personal CFO, giving you full visibility and control over your finances. Monarch Money, it's not just a budgeting app. It's a complete financial command center, and it's there to track all of your accounts, investments, and spending and do it all in one place. So you can stop managing your money and you can start building wealth. It's super convenient, easy to get things delivered like, a potato peeler to the house. But you don't realize how much money you're spending on these things in the long run. You lose track of it. Food delivery, obviously, is another thing. Now you can budget smarter and save more. And instead of juggling multiple apps, you get Monarch Money to do all of it for you. Check your finances, track the spending, even plan long-term goals. And if you're married, it makes managing money with your partner or your spouse even that much better. Makes it easier for you. You get to do it without the stress. So take control of your finances with Monarch Money. Use code LOCKEDONMLB at monarchmoney.com for 50% off your first year. That's monarchmoney.com, code LOCKEDONMLB for half off your first year. Thanks again for making Locked On Cardinals your first listen every day. Leaving comments on YouTube as well as on X anytime you want. The feedback, always welcome and encouraged, of course. We want to hear the good and the bad from you. Should be a lot of good stuff after this particular game because the Cardinals did the smart things in this game to get the job done. After that errant throw, the Cardinals ripped off 4 more runs in that 2nd inning to take a commanding 5-1 lead against, I can only assume, was a shell-shock Shane Smith, who got very little help from his defense in this one. Wasn't even pitching that bad. Obviously, the defense lets him down, but the Cardinals finally got some luck to go their way for once as well. You know, the last couple of years, it seems like the Cardinals were always the team that's getting burned by soft contact hits. How many times have you heard that phrase brought up? And it's because their pitchers lack swing and miss stuff. They're not missing enough bats. So other teams are able to put at least some piece of wood on the ball, which gives them an opportunity to find a hole despite not being barreled. And it happened a lot. Wash, rinse, repeat. You know, it just kept happening to the Cardinals. And finally, you get to see what it was like to be on the other side. The Cardinals got a taste of what the other side and how the other side lives a little bit for once. Victor Scott gets hit by a pitch. Donnie spins one through the infield at a whopping 69 miles per hour and beats the White Sox shifted infield to make it 2-1. You know, those are the plays. Like in the first inning against the Cardinals, they were shifted. Ground ball goes right where the second baseman would normally be. Run scores. This time, the Cardinals benefit from the infield moving around for Chicago. Base is still loaded there. Mason Wynn grounds one slowly towards first base. Basically a little more than a bunt, just a little tapper over to the first base side. But he puts it in play, doesn't strike out, runs able to come in. 65 miles per hour off the bat there. That makes it 3-1. Then it's Ivan Herrera dumping one into shallow right field at a whopping 56.1 miles per hour. The infield was in on the play, so they couldn't get back in time. It was just over their heads into right field. And two more are in, 5-1 score. The only base hit that was actually hit remotely hard was Nolan Arenado's single, which was hit hard, 105 off the bat. But the hardest hit ball in the inning was an out. Contreras' ground out to end the inning was at 107.7, but they put it in play, made things happen. This is the style the Cardinals were using in the month of May when they were playing really, really well. That's what they were doing. They weren't striking out in these situations. They were putting pressure on the defense and making things happen and benefiting from it. And yes, they got a little lucky in this one, but sometimes it is better to be lucky than good. Top of the sixth inning, the baseball gods got a little bit of payback on the Cardinals for all that soft contact when Ivan Herrera's would-be home run to right field got robbed by Michael Taylor. What are you going to do? Wonderful catch to pull it back. It's you tip your cap, you applaud it, say good job, but then you move on. And the Cardinals once again play with some desperation. Wilson Contreras ends up taking a walk. Burley singles to make it first and third for Arenado. And with the count full, Ollie wants to stay out of the double play. Sends the runner at first base. Alec Burleson is not a fast runner. You know this. But he's trying to not ruin the whole inning with a double play. Is willing to risk putting Burley in motion so that doesn't happen. Now, the play gets a little goofy because the runner at first goes to second. The pitch ends up being ball four. So Arenado walks, but the White Sox, despite you can hear the umpire clearly yell, ball four, like to make sure everybody knew, the White Sox throw it down to second base as if they're trying to catch Alec Burleson stealing. Even though he gets second base, he's safe no matter what. So, and when they make that throw, Wilson Contreras says, all right, F it. I'm going to break for home plate. And initially he was called out and I was like, a little too aggressive there. But after review, the brilliant swim move by Wilson Contreras sneaks his hand in before the tag. They overturn the call. He's safe and successfully steals home plate. That's what it goes down is to make it 6-1. And again, this is the sort of aggressive play that sure, it looks great when it works, right? Everybody's like, yeah, I want to go Willie right now. But if he had been out, you know that we would be bitching about this today. But it was a desperation type of move, which is where I think the Cardinals' mindset needs to be. 4-run lead at the time. So you're a little more lenient on how aggressive you want to be on the base pass, as opposed to if it was a 1 or 2 run game and he pulled this off and was out, oh boy, would we be upset because that would be putting the kibosh on what could be a very big inning because it would have been bases loaded and nobody out. But with a bigger lead, you could take a few more chances and be okay with that. But it worked. Hell of a slide by Contreras. So great job. Offense would continue to tack on throughout the night. They get home runs from Alec Burleson and Victor Scott II. Burley was 3 for 5 in this game. I don't know if you've realized how good Burleson has been over like the last 40 some odd games. He's batting 385 in the month of June, 2 home runs and 7 RBIs. And since his batting average dropped down to a season low 239 on April 21st, he's batting 331 with 6 home runs and 17 RBIs over 41 games. He's been pretty awesome. And he's hitting left-handers, which, says, hey, I don't need to be out of the lineup ever. I need to be either at the DH, I need to be playing first in the outfield somewhere, because the production speaks for itself. Victor Scott's home run, yes, it was off a position player, but so what? When the toughest things have been going for him, you don't care where the production comes from or how it happens. As long as it happens, you'll take it. Brendan Donovan, 4 for 5 in the leadoff spot. Mason Wynn was 1 for 5, tapped the 1-run in by putting the ball in play, which, you're like, okay, good job. Did score twice in this one. Ivan Herrera drives in 4. The Wilson Contreras steal of home plate was huge. Pajes with the bunt. He ends up scoring twice in this one. Even Lars Nootbaar was able to contribute. Now, we know how tough things have been for Newt lately, and although he did not get a hit in this game, did go 0 for 3. He's 0 for his last 27. We at least saw some progress. First off, the biggest thing, no strikeouts, because that's been the biggest problem for Lars Nootbaar recently, is striking out over and over and over. No strikeouts in this one. So that's progress. What else did he do in this one? Took a walk to help get things going in that second inning. That was a big deal. Got hit on the hand, painfully hit on the hand. He was shaking that sucker, so hopefully everything's good after that. But he was contributing. He was on base twice. He scored a run. He lined out twice. The last one he hit at 107.7. Again, it was off a position player. I get it. But this is about progress, not regression. And everything Newt did in this game, at least to me at the plate, felt like a step in the right direction, which is what you want. The other major impact about this game was Matthew Liberatore returning to form. He was on the mound, needed a much-needed bounce-back game, and he delivered. So we're going to discuss what he did coming up next on Locked On Cardinals. Whether you're gearing up for back-to-back meetings, shuttling kids back and forth to activities, or tackling an endless honey to-do list, the morning sets the tone for everything, and that's why it needs to start with the perfect cup of coffee crafted just for you. Enter Trade. Trade is the #1 coffee destination in the United States, delivering fresh, incredible coffee from over 50 of the country's top roasters. So whether you're into cold brew, which is my personal thing when we're talking about summertime heat and the humidity, I don't really need a hot beverage. I need something cold and something that'll wake me up. So cold brew is what I like. You got the pour over purist. They've got a roast you're going to love. You're going to find something that fits you. It seems like everything is more expensive these days too, so you want to get your money's worth on everything. And I love that Trade Coffee's prices are comparable to grocery store brands, but the big difference is the flavor, the taste. It's on a whole different level. It's so much better than what you're going to get at the grocery store. So trust me, try it right now. Trade is exclusively offering our customers 50% off your 1-month trial at drinktrade.com/LockedOnMLB. That's TRADE.com/LockedOnMLB for 50% off your first 1-month trial. drinktrade.com/LockedOnMLB. Thanks again for making Locked On Cardinals your first listen today. For your second listen, check out the all-new Locked On MLB Game Night. Every game, every night, all season long. You're going to get local analysis on a national scale, and you can find MLB Game Night on Locked On MLB on YouTube or wherever you listen to your podcasts. John and I hosted Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, and we've been having a good time. We got to talk about the Rafi Devers stuff last night. Yankees can't seem to score any runs, but we got to talk about the Cardinals, and I'm there. Talking about the Redbirds, and brought up what Matthew Liberatore did last night. Last 3 games for Libby, we know have not been good. I shared those ugly stats with you yesterday. No need to comb through them again. He was in desperate need for a get-right game and was able to do that against Chicago. Mission accomplished. It didn't start out great. After giving up a 2-out double and then a single to fall behind 1-0, both pitches catching way too much of the play. And that's what I talked about yesterday. The biggest issue for Libby has been execution. The stuff is good. The velo is there outside of the start against Kansas City where he had to leave the game with fatigue. But it doesn't matter if you're throwing in 98, 99. You cannot miss over the heart of the plate and expect to live at this level. Major league hitters will destroy you when you do that. But after that, he was excellent. 6 innings. He allows just 3 hits after the first, strikes out 4, didn't walk anybody, which is obviously a huge thing. You get the quality start. Didn't let that run in the first inning ruin or derail what he was doing. Got the job done. Exactly what was needed for this Cardinals team, exactly what he probably needed mentally after a struggle in the last 3 games. After the game, he did say that tonight is definitely the most synced up I've felt out of my last 3 or 4 starts. The offense made it easy on me tonight. Let me just go out there and challenge guys. I didn't have to go out and be perfect. So excellent job all around by the offense and by Libby. This might shock you, though. Did you know that this was the first win in 7 road starts this season for Libby? So nice to get that goose egg out of that stat sheet. Bullpen, shout out to you guys. Excellent. Riley O'Brien, who we continue to have hope that he can do it at this level. We know he's got the stuff. We know the stuff is good enough. He's just got to be more consistent. Allows 1 hit and 2 scoreless innings. Good. Keep it up. And then our guy, Andre Granillo, who finally got the call up, cleaned up the 9th inning in this one to seal the 12-2 victory. Well done all around, everybody. Excellent job. I know it's the White Sox. I get it. But at this point, who cares? When you are in a bad spot, you got to get a win. And a win is a win, and you need to keep stacking them against everyone you can if you want to remain in the NL Central race and at the very least the wild card. Even the good teams, they'll even tell you, they're like, it's great, but it doesn't matter. You got to beat the bad teams just like you compete against the other really good teams around the league. You got to have the same intensity, and you can't overlook anybody. And the Cardinals did not do that on Tuesday night. I love the way they played this game. They came out with a purpose and an attitude, and they piled on, and I loved it. They really, really needed to show that they had that kind of offense still in them. Like they eking out a 3-1 ball game would have been like, yeah, great. I'm glad we got the win, but man, that wasn't very impressive. This was impressive. What they did was impressive. Around the division, the Cubs did beat the Brewers 5-3. PCA and Seiya Suzuki doing most of the damage per usual for the Cubs, who now have a 6.5 game lead over the Brew Crew and a 7 game lead over the Reds and Cardinals, who are tied for 3rd place in the division. Cardinals are going to go back home, and the Reds are coming to town this weekend. After this White Sox series, you cannot have a letdown. You've got to beat those guys. All right. I can't live with the wife if the Reds beat the Cardinals again over this upcoming weekend. But first things first. Stay focused on the Chicago White Sox. Reds were able to beat the Twins. Pirates fell to the Tigers. So that's what's going on in the division. Tonight's matchup, it's Sonny Gray against right-hander Sean Burke for Chicago. Sonny, ugly outing against the Brewers when he got pummeled. But overall on the season, you like what you're seeing. 7-2 on the year. He's got the ERA under 4. Well, hopefully follow in Libby's footsteps and take advantage of what is a very porous Chicago offense. Stay away from Vargas, okay? He's the one guy that can do some serious damage against you. Cannot give up a gopher ball or anything big to that guy. You can work around some of these other guys who are hitting okay in their lineup, but that is the guy you cannot allow Vargas to beat you. So Sonny Gray, keep an eye on that dude. Pitch around him if you got to, because the rest of the lineup is not very good. Meanwhile, Sean Burke, 3-7, ERA at 4.71. He's a tall guy. He's 6'6", great extension. Not a hard thrower, though. You would think somebody with that size would throw the ball much harder than he does. Averages 94 on the fastball. Slider, curve are his next 2 main pitches with the occasional changeup. But he's not much of a strikeout guy. He's just not. So the Cardinals should have plenty of chances to put the ball in play against him. And hopefully Lady Luck continues, where they're able to, even when they don't hit the ball hard, they're able to find some holes. But for tonight, I just want to see more of the same. I want to see the same attitude, the same aggression. Play with some desperation in your game still. Keep it going. Keep the pedal down. Continue to build more momentum and start believing in yourself again, which I think they took a nice big step in doing that on Tuesday night, and I want to see it continue. So, as they say in Cobra Kai, no mercy. I don't care. It's the Chicago White Sox. No mercy. Beat the snot out of them again. Let's see it. Thanks for making Locked On Cardinals your first listen every day. If you haven't already, please give us a follow on X at LO_Cardinals and at JD Sports Radio, TikTok, and Instagram at Locked On Cardinals. Like, subscribe on YouTube. Help our channel and love for the Cardinals grow. You guys are the best fans in baseball for a reason. We'll see you next time on Locked On Cardinals.